Alright, I am still waiting for my suspension kit. I'm still waiting for my wheels. I'm still waiting for my slip yoke eliminator kit. I'm still waiting for my rear axle parts. I'm still waiting for my body lift. I'm still waiting for the rest of my stuff to finish the front end. So I've been waiting for a lot of parts. So today I want to do something. I'm going to install a CB. This is just the standard kit you can get from Quadratech that comes with everything you need. I've installed probably 7 or 8 of these radios at this point. This exact radio from Uniden. This is the Pro 510 XL. It's the most basic radio I think you can get. So this is the Firefly antenna from Firestik. This is like their thinner, more flexible antenna. And this is the 3-foot long one. Of all the antennas that I've had, and I've had a bunch, this is my favorite brand, style, and length right here. We're also going to be using a spring for the first time. I've always used the quick disconnect. So this will be a first for the spring. And this is the fire ring coax cable from Firestik too, which is also my favorite design. So this kit from Quadratech is actually pretty nice. I'm trying to figure out where I want this. There's actually a little stud on a YJ that hangs down right here, and I specifically remember using that stud to install my posi lock right there last time I had a YJ. Have no need for a posi lock with this Jeep, so I think I'm just going to mount it. There's a big empty plate right here that kind of hangs down below these HVAC controls. I think I'm just going to mount it just like that and try to put it as flush as possible with the face of this. And I kind of have it angled like that. I think that looks pretty good. And the speaker will be able to, have good clarity. It won't be pointing at anything. So I can always mount the mic on the side. I just don't want it to get in the way of my transfer case handle when it's hooked up. So I could put it right there. That's not that bad. Or I could put it here. No, I don't like that. Could put it here somewhere? No. I'll probably just put it on the side of the radio like this. And I can always just take the mic off if I don't like the way it looks. Something like this, maybe. I'm going to drill a 1/8" pilot hole. The instructions say you don't have to do this, but I don't have much faith in those self-tappers. Okay, so these little screws are garbage. That one melted. I'm just going to put some bolts in it, bolt it in with these. Alright, now the downside to installing your radio like this, is that now everybody who rides with you that thinks they're really funny is going to grab the mic and start talking to people or pretend like they're talking to people. Alright, cool. I'm good with that. Yeah, perfect. Now it just so happens whoever worked on this Jeep in the past doing something poked a hole in this grommet right here. It comes out right above the engine, so That's perfect for me. I'm just gonna run that. I'm just gonna run this wire through that hole that's already existing in that grommet. Luckily, the YJ is so small, it's like the cable or the wire they give you is the perfect length almost to get to the battery. So I'm gonna throw a loom around this just to make it look better, zip tie it up to this wire harness, and run it over here to the battery somehow really neatly. This is some leftover loom from a vacuum four-wheel drive light conversion video. I think it's gonna be just perfect. These are 16 to 22 gauge ring terminals, and I think that's a 5/16 hole. I'm not entirely sure, but it fits perfect, so I'm going to go with these. Positive and negative. Could put some solder on here if you wanted to, but I don't think it's necessary. All right, let me get my ratchet. All right, I'm good with that. The radio power wire still has a good amount of slack in it, and I can still get to that little bullet fuse, no problem, should it ever blow. There's the power wire going over. Not beautiful, but I don't think it looks too bad. I got it zip tied to the battery tray brace right here. Comes down around up underneath, splits out and goes to the two terminals. Okay, I definitely need to vacuum in here now, but I want to see if this works. Oh yeah, look at that. Now I don't have an antenna hooked up yet. It's okay to turn it on, but you wouldn't want to transmit without an antenna. It's a good way to blow your radio up. So I'm actually missing a screw right there. Oh, that's about. Okay, I'll take the bulb out. All right. Let's clean this up a little. Why is there no third hole here? Is that just my Jeep? Why is there not a third hole there? That's weird. Okay, and I gotta drill a 1/4-inch hole right there. Could probably remove this antenna, but again, I don't think it's necessary. More holes in my tub, which I hate, but This tub's pretty shot anyway. I say it's shot. It's not rusty, but it's got a lot of holes in it already. Okay, so I want to run this wire, this coax, inside the tub and come out right here where the tail light wires come out. Just gotta figure out how to get this grommet out of here without ripping something. There we go. Okay. Alright. I got it. Okay. Okay. Alright, on the driver's side, there is a wire harness already under here for like tail lights and that sort of stuff. So I'm just going to zip tie this coax, follow this all the way through and zip tie it through here real lightly. Don't zip tie coax too hard, you can crush it and make it not be coax anymore. For the grommet, I just cut a little slit in it, put the coax through there, and then pushed it back down in its hole. And what I'm actually going to do for the routing, these little red tabs right here, these are what's holding the factory wire harness on, and it's designed where you can bend these back and remove this wire harness if you ever needed to. And I like the serviceability feature of Jeeps. That's like one of the best things about, especially the old ones. So I want to keep that functioning. So what I'm going to do, not get this tangled, is route it on the bottom of this wire harness and zip tie it, around, not on top of these clips right here, so that if I need to take the wire harness out, the coax can be part of that and come with it. Another thing you want to avoid is having I got another 4 feet of cable here that I'm done with and I don't need, but don't bundle it up, and just kind of shove it up in there in a ball, because basically what you're doing is almost creating another antenna by doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this way over here to the passenger side, make a big swoop, and then come back, plug into the back of the CB, and at that point it ought to be, about perfectly satisfactory. No crazy wires dangling, looks clean. Alright, now for the most satisfying part in my opinion, the antenna. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, it's definitely picking stuff up. I'm in my garage now, so obviously reception is going to be very poor. Squelch is working. Whenever we run the CB, we always choose like a random channel, like 27, just so we're not talking over somebody else or somebody talking over us, whatever. Need to vacuum the Jeep now, but other than that, I'm done. Alright, so that's it. My CB installed. I'm good to go. If you were really worried about it, you could put an SWR meter on it and tune it just, you know, a little bit better or whatever, but the instructions specifically say that isn't necessary, and I've never had to do that in the past, and I've never had any issues. So that's the end of the install for that. I do have a few things if you're following the actual build of this Jeep. I got a few more updates for you on that. Temporarily put the front brakes together so that I could drive around my neighborhood with the WJ brakes on the front and just see how they do. The pedal is still very squishy, which I kind of figured it would be. The master cylinder on this thing is, you know, over 30 years old, and it's, you know, seen better days at this point. So I ordered a Dave's Customs booster and master cylinder. Going to swap that in whenever it gets here. It hasn't shipped either. But I was testing the vacuum on my Jeep because Dave's Custom says you need to have 18 inches of mercury for the booster to work correctly. Checked my vacuum and it's at 12. So obviously that is much lower than it should be. I am at altitude. I'm at about 4,500 feet, but I still feel like that's too low. I feel like I should still be around 14 or 15 at the lowest. So been doing some troubleshooting with that. It's firing on all 6 cylinders. It's got good compression across the board. I'm anywhere between 132 and 140, I think, on all 6 cylinders. It's got good fuel pressure. The timing at idle looks to be about right. The spark plugs, when I pulled them out, they were dry like they should be. They didn't have any oil or gas on them, but they did look a little hot. They were pretty white. I'm wondering if it's running too lean, and I'm wondering if there's a valve timing issue or some type of ignition timing issue. So been doing some troubleshooting with that. If you have any experience with that issue, feel free to let me know what you think it might be. I've got a few more things I want to check, but it's it still runs fine and it still stops. It's just I think once I get a new master cylinder on it, I think it'll be a lot better. So I got to work on that some more. I still have a ton of parts that I got to install before we roll out for Moab in April. I want to buy a trailer between now and then as well, so that's going to be another expense. I got an eye on a few of them. Also, this channel hit 1,000 subscribers recently, which is kind of mind-blowing. I've had this channel for over 11 years, I think. Probably a lot longer than that. I think I started this channel in 2005. But I didn't start uploading until 2010 or 2011, somewhere in there. And I didn't start doing Jeep stuff until a couple years after that. So for everybody that subscribed and actually watches, really appreciate it. Obviously, it's it's a much smaller channel than a lot of other Jeep guys, but it's a fun hobby for me. So I think I'm going to keep doing it, especially now that I've got some real motivation with people actually tuning in repeatedly. So that's it. Maybe next time we'll get the front end finished or something. I got a lot going on. So anyway, until next time.